welcome to another episode of Just a Girl with a Sword. We are continuing with Hebrews chapter 12, now from verses 3 to 4. Allow me to read from the Bible. I've not crammed these verses. Allow me to read, please. All right. For consider him who endured such hostility from sinners against himself, lest you become weary and discouraged in your souls. You have not yet resisted to bloodshed, striving against sin. So what do we get from there? Remember verses 1 and 2 of that chapter. Recap. There is an audience, a cloud of witnesses that is watching you. So what should you do? Get rid of the sin that so easily ensnares and entangles you and weighs you down, and do what? Run with endurance the race that is set ahead of you, looking to Jesus, the author and the finisher of your faith. And what is this verse telling us? For we have Christ who endured persecution and hostilities. Right? So we should consider his example, lest we be discouraged and weary in our walk. For we have not resisted sin up to bloodshed. And from there, I want to derive 3 points. What are we being told to consider? First of all, we are told to consider, what did Christ endure? You know, it is amazing. God is not telling us to do something that he's not done himself. By the time he's telling us to resist every sin that ensnares us, to run with perseverance the race that is set ahead of us, he has already given us an example to look at. Jesus Christ, his only begotten Son. Christ endured hostilities. When Christ was on this planet, by the way, how much hostility did you endure? Mara, he is debating with Pharisees, Sadducees, teachers, scribes, people of the law who are just constantly trying to ensnare him, to trick him, to trap him with their words. And they ask him all these questions, thinking that they can puzzle and befuddle the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. But of course, Jesus is not entrapped by any of them. But Jesus endured constant hostility, including being rejected in his own hometown. He goes to Nazareth and people, He goes to Nazareth and people are like, what are you telling us? Are you not that carpenter? You're the son of a carpenter and you're a carpenter yourself. You don't think we know you? Jesus, you. What exactly are you telling us? And because of their unbelief, no miracles were done there. Or I don't think any miracles were done there, or maybe there were just really few. But because of the unbelief, total rejection. Even his family, his brothers did not believe he was who he said he was. Constant hostility, including even being 1 minute rehailed as, yes, the Messiah, the whole Palm Sunday, and then a week later crucify him, excruciating pain on death on the cross. He endured hostilities, constant hostilities. But what is now Christ telling us to do? To endure them and not to be weary or discouraged. Sometimes we're like, now God, it's enough. It's enough. I think I've suffered enough. Is there no respite? Is there no break? Is there no half time? Please, somebody ring the bells that we know that at least time over, time out. But Jesus is saying, I have endured the same myself. I have also endured rejection. I have endured scorn. I have been mocked. I have been ridiculed. Consider what I have endured, that you might not be weary or discouraged. Friends, let us look to Christ. Sometimes life is just so disparaging. We're just so defeated and we feel so dejected, and we're like, God, is there no silver lining to this cloud? Is this storm never passing? Is there no light at the end of the tunnel? Jesus is encouraging, please look to me. Please look to me. Everyone who looked at my situation thought that there was no light at the end of the tunnel. People thought that my death on the cross was final, was the end of me, that they had finished me. But that was just the beginning. God was working something so much better than that they could even imagine. And that's what I want to encourage you today. In your fight against sin, because all of this, by the way, do not forget it is connected to the previous verses. We're being told to fight sin. We're being told to rid ourselves of these evil temptations that ensnare us. We're being told to run with perseverance the race set ahead of us. But we're being told that you're going to have to endure things which are hard. That is why we are being told, remember what Christ endured. Remember the hostilities that he had to go through, so that you may not be weary and discouraged. Because the truth of the matter is, this Christian life is hard. It is hard, my friend, and let nobody tell you otherwise. This whole manners of, oh, everything will be smooth, it will just be a bed of roses, that's not the truth. Jesus himself says that you shall have many troubles in this world, but fear not, take heart, for I have overcome the world. So this life is not going to be easy. Things are not going to work out the way that you want them to. But remember that if Christ endured hostilities, he endured pain, heartbreak, sorrow, dejection, rejection. If he endured that and was able to overcome it, so shall we, because that is the promise that he's given us. So do not grow weary. Do not be discouraged. Remember that God is sovereign and he is in control, and that he is more interested in our character than our comfort. I keep saying it because it's really the truth. If he allows unpleasant situations, if he allows pain and suffering in your life, it is that he may mold you into his image and likeness. That is what he's after. It is that he may be glorified in your situation. If you think about it, where is God glorified the most? It is where there is suffering and there is pain, and somehow you are delivered from it. You come out on top. That is where God receives the glory, because how on earth were you able to turn that around? It's only God. So let God be glorified even in the tough situations, even when you are weary. Learn to lean on him. Christ was able to endure all of that because he knew in whom he was believed. He believed in God. He leaned in on God. He rested in God's mercy and kindness and believed that, you know what, all of this is for God's glory. So let me do it. And that's what I want to encourage you with you today. When you feel like life is too hard, remember what Christ endured. Remember the hostilities that he had to undergo, so that you may not be weary and discouraged. And remember how Christ triumphed over everything, that you shall also triumph, because that is the victory that we have in Jesus Christ, because we are believed in him. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for listening. Please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Have a blessed week.